Okay, everybody. I wish to now, I have the wish to make in regards to an awareness through having that which there is enough to eat for everybody to have enough of. Not just like, say, if you were to eat a food which yields a harvest of not much per year, when there's 7 billion people and it yields not a great harvest for that crop to go around to everybody, and you're eating of that, that's going to make you weak, because you're not going to have all those people working for you. Because there's not enough for them to have. But if you have of a crop which is enough for everybody to have of something which there is enough for everybody to have, then you've got all those people on your level which you can relate to, and they can be working with you. So what happens is, when you have something which is there's not enough to go around for everybody, your life expectancy becomes then not as long, if you know what I mean. Not much, because you haven't got enough in you. And your things in your world, it starts to fail because you haven't got enough to account for everybody who's around you. Okay? So think about that. Think about calculating what food you're having, and if there's enough of what you're having for everybody else to have. Right now it's meat. I'm telling you, that's why everybody's at conflict right now. It's because of meat. Like certain meats, I only have chicken, but a tiny bit with rice, and I try to stretch it out. But like some meats, like pork and beef, there's not enough for everybody to have. Like on a daily basis, there's not enough, and everybody's at each other's throats, and it's a big, it's a bad war, So you got to just, again, figure out what the calculations are. You can say you can breed more, but you breed more, but I've calculated the calculations. Pork, I've calculated it for everybody to have a decent amount per day. If everybody was to have that particular meat per day, there would need to be like 80 billion pigs. 80 billion just on call to have, to breed, to have more, to get that much meat. And you know how much slaughter, how many pigs there'll be all over the place. Imagine cows. They have more meat off a cow, but it takes longer for a cow to grow up. It takes longer for a cow to mature, to become, it takes around 1 or 2 years. So imagine that many cows around. But with chickens, they only take around like a month or something to grow to adulthood, like six or 7 weeks or something. So they grow up very quick, and there's already billions of chicken. There's already around like 20 billion chickens. So the calculations were saying there had to be like 5 times that much. So, you can work it out. You say, all right, people just don't eat eggs and let the eggs hatch to become chickens, and you got more chicken. A chicken comes from the egg. You can either let the egg hatch, or you can eat the egg. So if you eat egg, you're not really getting the chicken, You're only having this tiny little bit of egg when you can have a whole big chicken. So, so you work it out in that respect, and you can say, okay, maybe that can work. That probably could work. So you could have at least a chicken per day. A couple of breasts per day, or a breast per day. You could just, work on it and have like some vegetables or rice, here and there with it, and just mix it up, and know that what you're having is going to be enough for everybody else to have. Okay, so that's what I'm working on now, and that's what I was figured to get everybody in the mode to concentrate on, to focus on having that which there is enough for everybody else to have. Because as of now, right, you got so many people passing away in wars and that, that whatever they're having, it's not it's not enough for everybody else to have, so their life is not going to be that long, and they're going to be cut short. And the main foods are those ruminants they're having, in wars. If you know, the main staple meat is the beef, is from the horn creatures. That's why I say, if you look at some of my posts, them horns equals devil food, satanic food. It gets people all hell bent on a grudge. They get the bad attitude and they want to, get into a conflict as if it's all right, or they get real grumpy and they begin to yell, and the habits are mindless. It's mindless, like nonsense. But on the other hand, you got the chicken. You notice after you eat chicken, you pick up, you're all happy, and you sort of, you bounce around, you sort of. Angels have wings, chickens have wings. You eat of that which has the wings. You be angel. You be in relation to the good or the God, or the good things, and you be in that respect. So that's what of the focus, and I'm just hoping that I'm sort of on the right path, because I'm not really, maybe the flavour's not really that good. I'm not really satisfied with my meal right now, but I'm just grueling away through it, knowing that now is a difficult time, and there's difficult things going on, and I'm just got to stick at it and work at it. So that's where I'm at the moment. Rice and chicken, maybe some flavour, just maybe a tiny bit of honey. Bees also have wings. So maybe just to taste of a bit of honey, just something, and just to fill my belly, to give me the fuel to do work, and to keep progressing, to try to get more answers, to make my surroundings clean, and to make sure there's enough for everybody, so I can have other people working for me, so I leave a good effect on other people, so I'm not being a nuisance to them, and so everybody around me can benefit too. So yeah, just think about that. Yeah, and just having enough of what there's a view for you, and having enough of what there's enough for everybody else to have, not only you to have, or a few other people. Okay, because if you notice, those who are that way and that mindlessly eat the food, they, bad things end up happening to them. Consistency amounts to knowing what to expect. So, you think about it. People might say, it's boring eating the same food every day, but, there's other things which people have every day that they say that's not that's not boring, and that's not boring. So think about it. Like, why can't you have one meal that's tasty enough to have every day that's not boring? I reckon it's, boring going around looking for ingredients to try to cook something else, and then you're having all these things and don't know what stuff's in the cupboard. That would be boring. I'd like to have one thing to eat. I know what I'm going to get. I know what I'm going to have. It's already prepared. It's ready for me to eat when I'm hungry, and it's there, and nothing goes to waste. Everything gets eaten, and everything's alright at the end of the day. It's soft enough for a baby to eat, so the baby can eat it as well, and everybody's happy. So just try to get something happening, and the focus, having enough of what there is for everybody else to have. Look at the yearly global harvesting per year in the crops, of how much each crop's going, because them all calculated together, there's more than what people eat alone, but there's certain crops that don't yield the same amount as the other crops, but there is way more than what people eat alone. So that means that the animals have to get involved, and there's more that's not being harvested, and there's more that could probably be out there. But you got the animals too, and the animals are not to be ignored. You're not going to let them all loose running out there, and it's going to be what's the word for it? It's going to be a stupid. It's going to be a nuisance. It's going to be hectic. But it's not going to happen. All right. the animals aren't going to go down to the lake and have a dip and have a drink of the water. You know how many animals there are? You got to put the water out for them. But nobody's doing it. Nobody's thoughtful. Nobody's responsible. Nobody's doing it. You know, put some water out for the birds. Like, put some food out there. I'll cook basmati rice. I give the basmati rice to the birds. I've concluded that rice to be bird rice and other grains to be more for people, like the creatures that have the arms and legs, you know. So, yeah, you know, you cook it, you know, you don't give them raw stuff. You cook the food, put some effort into it. But yeah, you know, if you've got animals around you, work out something for them to have that you're not going to have. You know, you work out how many of them animals there are, and you look at what crop matches their size, and then you can see there's enough for them to have. There's not enough for, say, birds or people to have. There's only enough for that species to have, so that food must be for them. But you know, right now, not all the animals are being counted, and not all the food's being weighed properly. Well, the food's more so, it's most of it's being weighed, but the animals aren't being counted. Nobody's out there counting all the animals. Nobody. They don't care. Nobody cares. Everybody's, yeah, got a grudge, got a hell-bent grudge. All in conflict and wars, and it's a careless life. They're not caring about the earth. They're going around as if the earth's going to take care of itself. They're burying the rubbish in the ground as if the earth is going to swallow it up, and they say it's going to decompose. And well, it's not in their lifetime. It's not going to go away, and it's what's going to curse them. Whereas, you know, you could make something. You know, if people weren't so filthy nowadays, they wouldn't have so much rubbish. But with the rubbish that's there, you could incinerate it. You could have filters on it, you know, to filter the smoke and filter that, and you could further break it down, and it could be gone in like under a year, and then you can have a clean earth, and you can continue having that clean earth without having all these stinking rubbish dumps around, you know, all these carcasses and all this stuff. And you know, what sort of a world would you have a want to live in? A one that's clean, or one that's filthy with all corpses and carcasses everywhere? You got people in coffins under the ground. Imagine, stink. How horrible is it? And it's supposedly it's okay because it's in the ground, it's not affecting anybody, it's not having effects on anybody. No, it's having effects on all the people. It's disgusting. Just knowing it's there, it's stupid. So think about it. Think about having a clean place, right? And yeah, eating and, you know, that which is there enough for everybody to have, and living a long and healthy life and a fit life, you know, and an intelligent and wise, careful, proper, honourable life, alright? That's what I want to get everybody on that level, alright? So, yeah, get fit and get some work done, alright? Okay, take care, I'll see you next time.